Appropriation Bill of 2025.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Makosazana Masilela, Honorable Deputy Speaker Sam Masango, Honorable Premier Mandla Ndlovu, Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Honorable Eva Makhabane, and Leader of the Official Opposition, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Finance, Honorable Kathy Dlamini, colleagues in the Executive Council and honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, members of the Mayoral Committees on Finance, Director General Ms. Megis Kosana, Head Official Ms. Kukuma Shiteng, and all heads of departments, Chairperson of the House of Traditional and Khoisan Leadership, Kgoshi Mokoena, leadership of the governing party, African National Congress, and alliance partners, SACP, with special reference to the Secretary, Comrade Lucky Mbuyane, COSATU leadership, and SANCO, the leadership of business, organized labor, youth and women formations and civil society, citizens of Mpumalanga. It is a profound privilege for me to introduce the 2025 Adjustment Appropriation for the Provincial Government of Mpumalanga today. This budget advances the interconnected priorities of our medium-term development plan, channels resources to high-impact programs, and allocates funds to address unforeseen pressures across departments and public entities. It is a statement of our commitment to continue attending to pressing service delivery needs of our communities. Honorable Speaker, before I introduce the changes to the budget, let me briefly provide some economic context for this adjustment appropriation. Global growth is projected to be 3.2% in 2025, despite persistent trade tensions, geopolitical uncertainty, and supply chain disruptions. The Minister of Finance, in his medium-term budget policy statement, revised South Africa's economic growth from 1.4%, announced in the main appropriation, to 1.2% in 2025. With the average annual GDP growth forecast at 1.8% over the next 3 years, the provincial economic growth is expected to hover around 1% this year. Sectors such as finance, transport, and agriculture are expected to expand by around 3% annually, whilst construction is expected to grow by approximately 2.4%. The average annual growth rate of less than 1% in key industries, such as mining and manufacturing, is a cause for concern given their importance to the provincial economy. According to the latest quarterly labor force survey, Mpumalanga's unemployment rate was the fourth highest among the 9 provinces in the third quarter 2025. But there is some good news. The province recorded net job gains of around 34,000 between April and September 2025. This is more than 50% of our MTTP annual target of 60,000 jobs. It is worth noting that third quarter employment levels also surpassed the pre-COVID levels. Most of these jobs were created in trade, finance, and construction, and the latter underscores the importance of sustaining infrastructure investment. However, job losses in manufacturing remain a serious challenge that demands urgent attention. Opportunities amidst challenges. Honourable Speaker, we are indeed exposed to a challenging economic environment, but at the same time, there are also positive developments around us with several opportunities. Firstly, the G20 summit showcased the potential of South Africa and Mpumalanga to the world. We firmly put Africa on the agenda of global engagement on inclusive economic growth and financial stability. Secondly, the Provincial Investment and Mining Conference hosted by the Honourable Premier secured sizable commitments which will lead to job creation and skill development amongst others. Thirdly, the outlook for energy generation is highly positive, with new initiatives being rolled out in line with the Energy Action Plan. Fourthly, for the first time since 2005, Standard & Poor's Global Ratings upgraded South Africa's credit ratings, acknowledging our improving growth and fiscal trajectory. This is a milestone worth celebrating. Lastly, the U.S. has recently opened the market to some of South Africa's fruit and nuts free duties. This is also a welcome boost, especially for Mpumalanga's agriculture sector. As Madiba reminded us, open quote, "It always seems impossible until it is done," close quote. We must continue to work together to transform our economic landscape for the greater benefit of all people. Honourable members, infrastructure delivery is the backbone of community and economic development, yet it is beset by persistent challenges that demand urgent and decisive action across the country. The root causes of challenges in turnaround for infrastructure delivery include poor planning, capacity issues amongst contractors and implementing agents, and disruptions that often arise within communities. These issues directly affect the pace, quality, and sustainability of infrastructure. Even more concerning is that these delays in infrastructure delivery pose risks of missed investment opportunities, future budget overruns, and threaten the stability of our provincial fiscus, even municipal budgets. We must continue to strengthen project planning and support and embed mechanisms for early community consultation to minimize disruptions. The Social Enterprise Development Program is also being revised to support the development and participation of local suppliers in the infrastructure delivery program. We call on departments, public entities, and municipalities across the infrastructure delivery value chain to improve capital spending efficiency and enforce accountability amongst implementing agents and contractors. Honourable Speaker, supporting municipalities to improve the funding status of their budgets remains a top priority for the Provincial Treasury. We continue to work closely with all municipalities that adopted unfunded budgets to develop credible budget funding plans. I am pleased to report that as a result of this intervention, 8 municipalities have successfully reduced the unfunded portion of their budgets during the year under review. Assisted, of course, even by other departments, but most importantly by the Premier's office in making sure that this target is achieved. In an effort to also strengthen the entire municipal revenue value chain, the Provincial Treasury transferred 10 million to targeted local municipalities. 4.9 million to Steve Tshwete for the revamping of metering systems, 3 million to Dr. J.S. Moroka, and 2.9 million to Emma Kazeni for support towards data cleansing projects. These interventions are part of a broader strategy informed by detailed assessments of municipal finances and governance. Additional initiatives are underway to support other municipalities in areas identified through our ongoing support services, including through the financial recovery plans in Governor Mbeki, Emalahleni, Tabachuewu, and Msugaligwa local municipalities. Honorable members, for many years our budgets have struggled to keep pace with the growing demand for service delivery. Each financial year, through intensified pressure to do more with less. Yet, despite these constraints, our provincial revenue collection streams have demonstrated resilience and steady growth. We have seen a remarkable upward trajectory on collection. For the financial year ending 31st March 2025, the province exceeded its annual revenue target by 23.4%, collecting 694.2 million above projections. Even more encouraging, in the first 6 months of the current financial year, we have already collected 2.2 billion, representing 61.6% of the 3.6 billion target, well ahead of projections. It is no coincidence, then, that the latest report from the National Treasury confirms that our province has the highest revenue collection rate amongst all provinces. This is a testament to the effectiveness of our systems. To build on this momentum, the Executive Council has approved the Provincial Revenue Strategy. This strategy is designed to broaden our revenue base, strengthen compliance with the collection points, and sustain high collection rates across all revenue streams. Every collectible rand must be collected, accounted for, and translated into visible, tangible improvements in the lives of our people. Honourable members, in response to higher than anticipated revenue collection, the Minister of Finance has announced the acceleration of certain one-off expenditures. This strategic move allows us to respond more decisively to immediate service delivery needs. Equitable share. As a result, our province has been allocated an additional 766.5 million through the equitable share for the 2025-26 financial year. These funds are earmarked to alleviate funding pressures, particularly within the critical sectors of education and health. Conditional grants. In addition, the province will receive 169.1 million in conditional grant funding to strengthen the early childhood development program. To further bolster our disaster response and health emergency capacity, the National Fiscus has allocated 351.2 million for disaster relief and 118.2 million for urgent health interventions. From our own provincial revenue fund, we are contributing 7.2 million to these adjustment budgets, demonstrating our commitment to co-financing priority programs in the province. The provincial budget is therefore adjusted upward by 2,045,994,000 to enhance the delivery of education, health, and social services, whilst also supporting programs that drive inclusive economic development. The effect of this is that total provincial budget will increase from 66,185,097,000 to 68,231,091,000 for the year ending 31st March 2026. Changes to baseline allocations, Madam Speaker. I will now outline changes to the baseline allocations and highlight some of the priorities funded through these adjustments. There are no changes to the total allocations for the Office of the Premier and Provincial Treasury, with the budget remaining at 493,827,000 and 647,494,000 respectively. The provincial legislature retains unspent funds of 34,835,000 from the 2024-25 financial year in accordance with Section 22, Clause 1 of the PFMA. A further 15.5 million is allocated to voter education and other initiatives. The legislature budget will therefore increase from 549,137,000 to 599,472,000. Cooperative governance, human settlements and traditional affairs budget increase from 2,360,127,000 to 2,388,783,000. This allocation includes, amongst others, 8 million to augment the baseline for traditional authorities-related programs, 5 million to continue with the skills audit and capacity development programs in the targeted municipalities, 7.7 million for continued work at the Parliamentary Village. Agriculture remains a cornerstone of our economy, with immense potential to create jobs and expand the food basket of our province and neighboring countries. We must harness recent investments in agricultural infrastructure, such as the Mkhuhlu Agri-Hub and the Mpumalanga International Food Market, to ensure that our communities derive lasting value and opportunity. The budget for agriculture, rural development, land and environment affairs increases from 1,615,634,000 to 1,991,627,000. Included in the budget is 279.8 million from the Comprehensive Agricultural Support Grant to respond to the effects of various natural disasters experienced in recent times. 20 million to complete Mkhondo Agri-Hub and 30 million to continue with the Farmer Production Support Program, amongst others. Economic Development and Tourism budget increases from 1,324,261,000 to 1,423,941,000. The adjustments process adds 32 million for work related to the Mpumalanga International Fresh Produce, whilst 25.9 million is a rollover amount for the same objective. 7 million for the establishment cost for the Nkomazi Special Economic Zone, 10 million for tourism awareness programs. MEGA is allocated 10 million towards the refurbishment of factories, 9 million to increase revenue generation efforts and conduct feasibility study for the 4th casino. 5.7 million is allocated to MTBA to cushion contractual obligations and budget pressures. The province recently hosted the Investment and Mining Conference, and we expect the proceeds of this drive to strengthen the provincial purse as we prepare for next year's main budget. To achieve this, Department must coordinate and actively participate in networking opportunities, both nationally and internationally, to grow our investment portfolio and contribute to job creation efforts in the province. The National Development Plan identifies SMMEs as catalysts for growth. It is therefore our responsibility to unlock their potential and place them at the center of economic development and transformation. We call on the department to work closely with municipalities and local economic development structures, including sectors such as tourism, to achieve our developmental goals. Education's budget increases from 28,732,642,000 to 29,184,153,000. The allocation includes 359 million set aside to address contractual obligations, your LTSM provisioning, ensure continuity of other essential education services. 100 million for the provision of mobile classes to intervene in overcrowded schools. Mpumalanga Regional Training Trust is allocated 10 million to cushion budget pressures. Conditional grants rollovers to the tune of 177.5 million are added to the baseline of the Department for Early Childhood Development, National School Nutritional and Maths, Science and Technology programs. The budget for the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport increases from 5,876,915,000 to 6,353,748,000. The adjustments bill provides, amongst others, 71.3 million towards the reconstruction and rehabilitation of disaster-damaged roads infrastructure. 44.5 million is for completion of the parliamentary village, as well as 13.2 million rollover amount for the same project. Kondo Boarding School is allocated a rollover of 9 million, and an additional 4.7 million is added to the baseline for the same objective. 100 million is added to cushion the budget pressure of scholar transport. The department is expected to strengthen its own project management capabilities to expedite infrastructure delivery in the province. We call on all sectors to support DPWRT by ensuring timely planning of infrastructure projects and strengthening monitoring and support throughout their implementation. We also call upon the department to work with communities, Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison, and SAPS to confront the criminal activities that disrupt our projects, ending up driving delivery costs and attracting unwanted expenditure. Community Safety, Security and Liaison's budget increases from 2 billion, 144,260,000 to 2,173,160,000, with 9.1 million allocated to absorb 104 traffic learners, 10 million to address resource pressure related to the Libombo border post. An allocation of 17.8 million is provided to strengthen security services at high-risk government sites, particularly at health centers and other facilities, to protect workers and communities. Department of Health's budget is increasing from 19 billion 750,975,000 to 20 billion 435,986,000. Included in this allocation is 507.5 million for budget pressures, mostly on essential goods and services, 118.2 million to sustain the HIV/TB intervention, 20 million to operationalize the new Middleburg Hospital neonatal intensive care unit in Middleburg, female surgical ward in Mamitlake and Barberton Rehabilitation Center for patients, and 39 million for provision of essential items such as autoclaves in hospitals and optimal operationalization of our health facilities. Culture, sports and recreation budget will increase from 812,298,000 to net 631,373,000. The reduction is mainly from slow-moving spending on infrastructure projects, notwithstanding this department. This department receives 2.7 million rollover from the Mass Participation and Sport Development Conditional Grant, 7.5 million to cater for the provincial team support to ensure that the province hosts high-profile games amounts to 3.8 million, social development budget of 1,877,527,000 is increased to 1,907,527,000. Included in this allocation is 30 million to attend to budget pressures on goods and services, as well as tools of trade within the department. As I conclude, allow me to borrow the words of the former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, who reminded us, open quote, "Good governance is the single most important factor in eradicating poverty and promoting development," close quote. We call on all departments to use the allocated budget effectively and commit to governance that is transparent, accountable, and results-driven. Indeed, reporting and accountability in the use of this budget is not optional. It is a fundamental obligation of every accounting officer, chief financial officer, and every official. Honorable Speaker, we are determined to turn around audit outcomes across departments, public entities, and municipalities. Achieving this requires all of us to rise to the occasion and embrace this responsibility and act with integrity. Management and oversight structures across all spheres must ensure that internal controls are not just maintained, but regularly tested for effectiveness so that the principal objectives of public finance management legislation are fully achieved. Let's make this adjustment budget work for all and that it advances the aspirations of the people of Mpumalanga. I would like to express my appreciation to the Honorable Premier Mandla Ndlovu for leading us through the process of preparing this adjustment budget. My colleagues in the Executive Council for always supporting us in this important yet balancing task of resource allocation. The Honorable Chairperson and members of the Portfolio Committee on Finance for supporting the principal positions of the Department on Budget and Governance matters. The Director General, Head Official, and all officials of the Provincial Treasury for carrying out the administrative task related to this process with professionalism and commitment. Last but not least, the leadership of the ANC-led Alliance for Policy Guidance on Finances and supporting the work we are doing on behalf of the citizens of this great province. But not forgetting all honorable members from different political parties for their constructive criticisms and support in different times. I hereby table the following budget documents for consideration. Mpumalanga Adjustment Appropriation Bill 2025, Adjusted Estimates of the Provincial Revenue and Expenditure for 2025-26, Introductory Speech on the Mpumalanga Adjustment Budget for 2025-26, I thank you. Siyabonga.